Look at us now.
Oh, Jesus.
It's what, 11 a.m.?
Combat.
Oh, there it is.
You fit in seamlessly in this weird MK environment.
Do you want a margarita?
We're gonna do it. On your marks, get set, and go down. I used to like to start these shows with Wu-Tang quotes, but now that's an old guy thing to do. Well, good news. We're old guys. Hi, everybody. Welcome on this 24th day of August, 2026. My name is Luke Thomas. Welcome to another episode of Morning Kombat. I am merely one half of your hosting duo. I join you, Chuck. Today's the first day. Let me shoot over a little bit. First day of DC public schools here. Can you believe it?
Is that right?
Yeah,
Wow, that's
my little
pretty
one.
early. Wow.
Yeah, 20. I know, dude. You know what? I used to think that the summer was 3 months off,
That's
but it's
what I
only
thought.
2 because they got out in like late June, and now here we are in late August. They're just shaving time off.
Yeah.
these
Did
motherfuckers.
they add days for the snow, like the snow days and all that at the end of the year? Because that's what
So
they
they
do here in
added
Connecticut.
some, but it wouldn't have made a
Okay.
huge. I think like maybe 2, something
Okay.
like that. And you
All
guys probably got hit worse than
We
did.
hit. We
Well,
did
no,
get hit with that.
Well, we had
It
the
was-
snow creep.
That's right. We had a lot of snow, but I mean, it felt like it was, like an
Yeah.
accordion. It was like less than 2. I'm sure it's a little over 2 months, but yeah, man, my son's getting ready to head back, but not yet. He's still got like a week to go here.
Well, I'll just want to say, my little one, my daughter, is first day of 2nd grade. Can you believe
Wow.
it, dude?
Wow.
I
man.
announced my wife was pregnant the 1 year I hosted the MMA Hour. Do you remember that?
Yes.
yeah.
Dude.
Congrats on the sex, bro.
I was like, "What does BC? Oh, impregnation, right?"
You'll find it. It feels like yesterday that you were posting those, like you're taking your daughter around to these like landmarks and stuff, and she's asleep at every place. And this
Yeah.
became like this thing. That
Yeah.
feels like yesterday, dude. Where did it go? That's fun.
Yeah, now she's not sleeping when I take her to
Yeah.
museums. She's complaining. It's different
Yes.
now. Yeah.
Yep. They
By the way, I
graduate
didn't even
to
say it's Chuck Mindenhall. Everyone here.
Yeah,
Hello,
yeah.
Iceman from
Uncrowned.
Uncrowned.
That's right.
yes.
Yeah. I bounce
My
around.
brain is still telling me the Ringer. You're not with the Ringer at all anymore, right?
I'm not with the Ringer anymore, but they're still all my good buddies over there. I'm still in
Yeah,
touch
yeah.
with everyone,
For sure. Let's bring in the third member here of the show. He is the intrepid producer, questionably sober, but unquestionably committed. It's Long Island Luke. Hi, Long Island. How are you, bud?
I'm good. It's August and Luke's still talking about snow creep, but we'll
Yeah.
move past it one day. It's all right.
Well, it just finally like it dried up, right? Like it finally gone.
It's I don't know. I don't know if you guys got it, but in DC it was bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, eat shit, first of all. One reason why I didn't know this, Long Island. So we had all that terrible weather in the winter, and I thought, okay, at least the payoff is going to be that there's going to be less mosquitoes this season. No. Turns out it wasn't cold enough to actually freeze them out, and then all the extra water that seeped into the
Oh,
ground
now you got extra.
actually made it worse. So,
This is why it was a big concern for Dana when they were doing that White House show.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true, and that's a great point. I will say that I haven't noticed it to be buggy here on Long Island, so maybe we did get the extra freeze out or whatever you're talking about. So
Yeah.
shout out Snow Creep.
all right, very good. Let's set the table here for the show if we can. We're coming off the heels of UFC Sacramento, a highly enjoyable main event, if I do say so myself. Main card, a little less so. Prelim card, pretty good. There was PFL Tampa over the weekend. There was also RAF. There's also some like boxing nonsense going on. There's the actual fight itself between Teofimo Lopez and Rolly Romero. We'll discuss that a bit. But then on the other side, just what the hell is, all the boxing news is related to Eddie Hearn battling with Zuffa, battling with Saudi Arabia. What the hell's going on there? We'll discuss that, plus a whole lot more. So thumbs up on the video if you haven't. Hit subscribe if you haven't. Share it with a friend if you haven't. You can see all the socials there on the screen. You can follow us there. That'd be great. Of course, you can also reach us by email, morningkombat@gmail.com. This is for fan subs, dead wrongs, and to reach the show more generally. And as a general reminder, with fan subs, best one all month gets a free signed poster, which leads me into morningkombat.shop. This is the place for merch. 2 designs this month, the head splitter as well as the John Donk, and of course the autograph poster as well. Those are available, I guess, one more week from today, basically, if my math is right, or pretty close to it anyway. So there's that. And then, of course, we have memberships, badges, emojis, and other fun stuff to come. All right? I think that's about it. Otherwise, Chuck, if you're ready to get this going, we can get this going.
Let's try it. Let's try it for real this time.
Let's try it for real. That's Chuck's favorite thing to say when the show is over. Let's do it for real this time.
I've been doing it since the Heat, man.
Yeah, exactly. All right, topic number one. Let's kick this off. UFC Sacramento took place over the weekend. In your main event, I'm a little surprised by the way that it went. I'll be honest about it. Gregory Rodrigues, I would say, mostly thwarted the attempts at offense from Anthony Hernandez and wins a unanimous decision victory. Although I have to say, the scoring is kind of weird on this one. All the judges gave Hernandez round 3, which no issue at all. And then one of the judges gave him round 5. Another judge gave him round 1. Now, not enough to give him all 3 rounds scoring-wise. So, again, it's 149-46 and then 248-47s. But interestingly, they found sort of 3 different rounds where they could give him a score. We'll talk about that in just a minute, Chuck. But let's start here. This is, to me, Robocop's Gregory Rodrigues' best win to date. But I guess what I want to say is, in your opinion, did he put to rest any long-standing concerns, both about his upside and maybe even his cardio too?
I think he did. Coming into it, we're talking about his power more than probably anything else. I think he tried to land some of that, but it's probably a better look in the sense that he showed he can go the full 5 rounds, especially after the one definitive round for Fluffy was that 3rd round. And it started to look like the tides had changed in this fight, and that's what made it this is what made it fun, was that there was some plot twists to this fight. And he comes in the 4th, reestablishes kind of like what he was doing. He starts thwarting the takedowns again. He's landing. And, he just looked like he was ready for a 5-round fight. And in my mind, he answered it. I thought he won the fight going away. I did not score the final round, for Fluffy. I saw the one judge did there. I thought he, in terms of if there were true questions if this guy could do that, this was a great test because he's going against a guy we know has a lot of cardio and 29 takedown attempts, which is just ridiculous. It made me think of Marab's fight with Jan, that first one where he had the 49, where it's just kind of a constant stream of thwarting. But dude, to kind of go through that, to still get off offense, to still put on an exciting fight, I don't think he could have performed better, honestly.
Man, I'll tell you what. When we get them right, sometimes you like to, brag a little bit. When you get them wrong, you got to say it as much as well. To me, Rodrigues winning is not necessarily all that surprising. Again, I thought Fluffy would win, but we thought that Rodrigues had a chance. Certainly, I thought he had a chance. But I thought, and I argued this explicitly on Friday, that his best chance would be the first 2 rounds to kind of see if you can just really either put up a huge lead and maybe hang on, but maybe just kind of stop him because he wasn't going to have that 5-round cardio. And sure enough, he did. And it's really, really important to say that he was able to go the distance. And, one of the judges gave Fluffy round 5. I would not have given him round 5. I didn't think that really merited it. So it's the point I'm trying to make is even down the stretch in the championship round, certainly round 4, you would never give to Hernandez. To me, Rodrigues, yes, absolutely best win of his career. And then I do think he kind of changed the nature of what his upside would be. He was one of these guys, Chuck, who was kind of floating on main cards. You would see him occasionally in bigger fights, maybe in Apex fight nights, but you would see Robocop on the card and you'd be like, oh, he's fighting another kind of nondescript, but it'll be a fun middleweight fight, and he would win most of them, but not all of them. And for me anyway, I didn't necessarily prioritize him as somebody I had to watch, right? I got to really pay attention to what he's doing in his career. And I think after this one, I do. I think to me, this was the kind of fight and the kind of performance and the quality of opponent, which we'll get to in a minute, but certainly in general, the quality of the opponent where it's whatever and this might just be my own personal assessment. People might have had different assessments of Robocop, in which case they can make their own adjustments. But for me, I thought he was a good one. I just didn't think he was going necessarily anywhere. And now I think he's got a date with some of the bigger names in this division. And I don't know what's going to happen there. I guess we'll have to see. But I didn't even think he was necessarily going to get there. And I especially didn't think, Chuck, he would do it by being able to hold the line for 25 minutes. I think that part to me was very surprising. What I will say, though, is, Chuck, I'm not sure what the right word is, okay? His cardio didn't fail him. He did have cardio. But part of the reason why he had good cardio was because his defense never really got super overwhelmed where he had to fight back out of things. You know what I mean? It's one thing to have defense where something bad happens to you and then you dig yourself out of it.
Right.
And I don't mean just getting rocked. I mean like taken down, putting flat on your back, and now you got to get all the way back up. And he got taken down 3 times, as you mentioned, at 29 attempts. But, he wasn't able to do anything there. But most of the time, he just stopped it before it got worse.
Sure.
Which is, to me, actually a better sign. But he was still kind of labored, and I didn't think his defense it didn't overwhelm me. And it looked like maybe when the fight was going into the later rounds, tell me if you agree with this or not. And if you don't, by all means, please speak up. Again, I'm not sure if this is the right word. Did it look to you like maybe his mobility suffers? Like, he got the job done and he wasn't, like on hands and knees when it was over. But part of it was because the defense never really forced him into that position, which is credit to him. But then nevertheless, when he was moving around, like you even heard Dominic Cruz being like, oh, he looks much more labored now. He still won, but it looked to me like, I guess what I want to say is I didn't think he could do what he did, and he did it. But am I fully convinced that his cardio is no problem for 25 minutes? I guess I'm a little less convinced by that.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at. And I think part of it might have just been because 29 attempts, man, that was a lot of attempts. And I think one of the takedowns was at the very end of a round. It was probably, it doesn't really even amount to anything. But I think that like, once you realize like, you know what, I kind of know, what strength he's coming into me. Like you can feel like when he's shooting there, like, I think that he at some point was like, I know I can fin this. And at some point, maybe he realized he was sturdy enough or that the takedowns weren't full throttle. Because I noticed what you're talking about. It wasn't like he had to exert a ton, or at least it didn't look that way. And in fact, sometimes there were points in this fight I felt like the takedown was almost, that was kind of the deke in a weird way to kind of land hands. Like he was going back and forth, Fluffy was with, setting up his hands or setting up the takedowns. It felt like he was kind of going back and forth. Maybe it just looked that way through the, being mesmerized by 5 rounds of that kind of action. But I know where you're going. I think it's impressive though. Like these fights, like you see something, let's just show it. Was this his first? This was Robocop's first main event. I'm not sure, but like,
no, Jared Cannonier.
Oh, the Jared Cannonier. Okay, but he hasn't been in, like you're mentioning, he's kind of shows up on cards. It's not a lot of times where you say, okay, he's the main attraction. This particular one I felt was so geared towards Fluffy. Obviously, Sacramento being close to where he, grew up and lives. And I know he trains a lot in Sacramento, or he at least traditionally has. That crowd was on his side. Everything is kind of geared against Robocop. And he kind of quietly goes in there and puts on the show. I don't know if you put any stock into this thing. I know a lot of fighters do. And then there's some who are like, I don't even hear the crowd when I'm fighting. But it felt like he was kind of just shutting down more than just like the takedown attempts and that constant, barrage of that type of thing. It felt like he was trying to answer some broader critic. And even in his, even in that post fight where he's like, all those question of my cardio was first on his mind, right? Like to kind of point out, like, I hope I proved you all wrong and all that stuff. He was fighting with a chip on his shoulder. And I think that was evident. And I like guys who go in there like that, just kind of refusing to lose, So you factor all that in. And I think just taking advantage, like if we were not paying attention to him before, when he's calling out like DDP and all that stuff, you're like, wow, this dude just kind of shot into the maybe not quite the title picture, but all in one night, kind of gets into contention with that big win.
Long Island, do you share my assessment that, again, I'm not sure what the word is. He certainly overcome my expectations. I want to say it one more time. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I was right, but I was wrong. No, I was wrong. I just flat out didn't think he could do what he ultimately did. But that doesn't mean I have to sit there and say, right, that like, oh, in round 5, I can see how it'll never be a situation where he could be so tired, he could be overwhelmed. I feel like against a different opponent, potentially this could be a more relevant concern.
Sure, it could be a concern, but I do think I still came away from this performance overall impressed with Robocop. I don't think anyone was like, ooh, I have Robocop by decision. Most people were like, ooh, he's probably going to knock out Fluffy, maybe to the body, something like that. I mean, I think all of us picked fucking Fluffy. None of us were even on Robocop.
I was wrong.
Yeah, so you and me both. But I feel like I came away impressed, but I'm with you where I'm like he calls out DDP. And not that that's a bad fight, but I'm looking at that like, I don't think you deserve that yet. Like, let's take a step back. Like, you're not in a number 1 contender fight yet. You're in a, top 10 fight next. Let's see how you do there. Let's go another 5 rounds against another tough opponent. Let's see. I came away more disappointed with Fluffy, I got to say. I know we'll probably get to that, but like, to me, it was kind of like the Mackenzie Dern Jillian Robertson fight. I was both impressed with Dern, but bummed out with Jillian. This, I was impressed with Robocop, but bummed out with Fluffy.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We'll talk about Fluffy in just a minute, but I do want to talk about some of the things that Robocop did right. For me, first of all, the leg kicks. My God, dude, dropping him, what was it, 3 times in round 2? He dropped him with leg kicks. Now, there was maybe a case that he could have gone even more to it, but then Fluffy switches to southpaw the entire time. So again, this is a huge thing I want to point out. It's one thing to take advantage of some guy making a dumbass mistake. And maybe you could say Fluffy should have checked more, Chuck, or something like that. But it's another thing to make him fight in disadvantageous terms. So when he has to go and fight southpaw, right, when he normally does not want to fight that way, and he just looked like he couldn't get his offense going, and more to the point, it actually made his takedowns even worse, right? So rather than starting with the appropriate lead foot and lead shoulder to be able to reach for what he wanted to do, he had to go here and then step into that stance before grabbing, which slows it down just enough to make it much, much easier to stop. Like, all the credit in the world to Gregory Rodrigues for that. I'll also say, Long Island, you had pointed out on Friday, hey, this, or maybe it was Danny who had pointed out on Friday, this is a bit of an IQ test. Like, is Rodrigues going to go to the body? Sure enough, he did the entire fight. I'll say credit to Fluffy for not really folding under that. But, in terms of the assignment that Gregory Rodrigues had, it was great. And the thing is, too, like, on top of it, like, the takedown defense I thought was, very, very good, although in part because Fluffy underperformed, I think, here relative to at least expectations, if not reality. But, like, I think the thing that was kind of interesting to me, Chuck, was that if you notice with Rodrigues, right, if he's jabbing either straight or to the body, or jab 2, or jab 2 hook, right, so 1, 2, 3 essentially, if he kept it as Fluffy was trying to move into him and did that, right, he landed a bunch. The only times he really got his shit rocked were once at the end of round 2 when he was up against the fence, or when he would go like 1, 2, 3 and then stay there and then try and like fight in the pocket off extended combinations. Then you would see Fluffy come to life. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is they realized ahead of time, if we just keep it simple, 1, 1, 2s, 1, 2, 3s, mix up the targeting a little bit, you're going to land just fine. Fluffy's defense is not good. And so while I do think that, like, the way that Robocop fought was somewhat constrained, those constraints all worked and they kept him safe. That's a pretty good game plan.
Yeah, he landed a lot of shots based on that kind of aggression. I feel like, if anything that might have stood out was they game planned Fluffy very well. And maybe this goes into the fighter IQ the other way, where you're saying, like, maybe Fluffy needs to vary things up a little bit or add some wrinkles or something, because, I feel like what the one thing that Rodrigues was able to kind of do was, and there were certain exchanges, like you're mentioning, like, where I felt like he was kind of timing things out. Like, he landed some nice shots just based on the aggression, kind of knowing exactly what was coming at him. That played out over the course of time too, like, especially in those later rounds, like where he kind of pulled away from this fight. So I feel like I'm kind of with Long Island. I'm with you. I know that you probably have a sense of this too, and I'm interested in your take when it comes to Fluffy, because he's coming off a loss. And I think part of what made me, not just being in Sacramento, not all of that, what made me think that he would bounce back is he's a dog, right? Like, he's a guy who, if you talk to him or talk to people he's trained with, shows up every day, but it might be more based on just like him being a dog. Like, he just stubborn, wants to get in there and push the pace and do these things, but maybe he's not, adding nuance to his game. Did you see anything, I guess, from
in
the
terms of Fluffy not adding nuance?
Fluffy, because from the Sean Strickland fight, right? Like, we watched that one, we talked about that one, loses that fight, and obviously he'd been on a nice roll, and we were identifying all the positives, and now you get into this stretch where you have to actually sort of say, okay, wait, what's going wrong here with Fluffy? I wonder if you saw him doing anything different that you liked about Fluffy's performance there. It felt like some of the stuff I was like, but see, this is becoming a little predictable.
Yeah, so he had a huge problem in this one, which is kind of a similar problem to what he had in the second one. Like, for example, like, Strickland landed that knee that folded Fluffy ultimately. Rodrigues was throwing a bunch of those. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them landed. By the way, I just want to point this out too, if I may. Rodrigues landed 61% of his significant strikes in this fight. That's a very high percentage. That's really, really high, especially for 5 fucking rounds. That's very high. By the way, Hernandez, 10% success rate on takedowns. Now, I'm not comparing the two as like equally skilled, but dude, that's like Mackenzie Dern level inefficiency with takedowns, at least statistically speaking. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
But here's the problem that I saw with Fluffy, and I was so surprised by it that I went back and I was like, what did I miss from the other fights? So a lot of times what you'll see with Fluffy is he'll reach for a single, he'll go head outside, sometimes head inside, but mostly head outside. He'll get to that crotch lock, and he'll try and bounce a guy off the fence or maybe run him a little bit, but not really. He doesn't move him too much. Then he'll go to the body, right? So he starts with the leg, then the crotch, then the body. Right. And then from there, what ends up happening is sometimes you'll see him try to get these twisting body locks or move him a little bit off the body lock and then the trip. You saw a little bit of that. But it's starting from a static position for the most part. Mm-hmm. The most success he's had in takedowns are when guys are overwhelmed with cardio. So their defense just lapses. Right. Or he gets these twisting body lock trip takedowns out in open space. And Rodrigues was very, very good about moving to the fence actually to begin to stop all of these things. So Fluffy didn't have the room to do very easily these twisting body locks or spin them or move them. Like, for example, I was like, how did he take down Brendan Allen so easily? Well, one big part of it was it was an open space. And part of the reason it's an open space is because Allen was seeking it. Right? He was moving into Fluffy in a way where he was looking for grappling contact in those locations. So Fluffy got accommodated by that. Rodrigues never did that. This is what I mean. Rodrigues' game plan was real sharp. What are the things that we need to not do? What are the situations we have to maintain? And what are the offensive weapons I'm going to use in this fight? And how am I going to apply them? He did that super good. Now that to me is not the same level as something's not going right and I have to adjust. Fluffy got into that position, but I just want to point out, to me, it was the prep for Rodrigues in this fight that did a great job. But for Fluffy, dude, his takedowns are they're not that great. They're good. They're good. They're not great. And I don't think he's got a huge variety of them. For example, we did this in the Ian Gary tape study. If Islam gets to that single, right, head outside single, runs you into the fence, and he can't move you off the head inside single, what he'll do is he'll stand up and then step forward as he hikes the leg up, right? So now it's here. Then he's going to club over the top with a trap dump or some other club at the top and then trip you underneath your feet. He's got an answer for it. Fluffy could only lose the position. He could not advance it. He would have to release the crotch lock to then go to the body lock. And then from there, oftentimes what you would see, Chuck, is he would have the body lock. That didn't go anywhere. So now he's fighting for underhooks. He would lose that too. Then they would be fighting hands, and then he'd go with the elbow over the top. You saw that probably a number of times. And that's not bad offense. But if for all that work, you get no takedown and you get a decent but not necessarily a hugely impactful elbow, man, that's a lot of work for one fucking elbow. That's a shit ton of work. And he could just never, he didn't have dude, this is why Islam to me is such a standard of excellence. If Islam finds himself in a position like that, not at middleweight, obviously, but something similar, and that doesn't work, brother, he's got 15 other takedowns.
That is true.
He can go to, and he's going to move you around to get it. He's going to get it, right? Or get to the back more easily. Fluffy just got stuck in head outside single, crotch lock, body lock, underhook, hand fight, elbow every single time because Rodrigues didn't let him go past it. And I think it speaks to Hernandez just not really having enough of the other skills developed to make a lap move.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you're the best at what you do here, Luke. I mean, that honestly is exactly that watching that fight it becomes frustrating. I kind of echo Long Island too, where you're watching from the other guy's side of things, and you're it's just, you can tell that they know it's coming and they know exactly how to defend it. Like you said, he backs up to the fence. let's go through that progression, and then we're breaking free. It was kind of rinse and repeat on a lot of that stuff. And I don't know if maybe Rodrigues looked a little bit at the Strickland fight, but I mean, if anybody's going to fight Fluffy, unless he, add some evolution to this or add some more nuance, some wrinkles to this, I feel like they can look at this tape and kind of know what to do, right? This is when they say, like, if you put down tape, you're like, well, this is Fluffy. He's got this. It's a finite thing you're planning for. This is what he's going to do. That's not, I mean, when we talk about these guys and their upside, this is downside. This is one of those things you're like, maybe guys weren't detecting what to do, but now that he's been figured out a little bit, he's going to have to be the one to vary things up. Otherwise, I feel like we're going to see a lot of this with him. Don't you? I feel like we're going to see other guys fight just the same way against him.
The other part too about Fluffy is, I think we should say this, like, again, dude, if he gets a takedown and starts that cycle where he's got like one hook in and he's pressing down and he's battering you on one side and, slipping a choke, and maybe the choke doesn't work, but he's still on top of you and he's wrestling you to your hands. Dude, once he gets that process started, he's tough to beat. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
But on the feet, I'm not overwhelmed with his striking defense. Dude, if your answer for getting kicked in the leg is just to switch stances into a stance that you just mostly can't use. I know Amanda Nunes got away with it against Juliana Pena, but like in general, bro, this is not a viable path. Not that stance switching is a bad thing, but if you have to retreat to a place you don't have great offense from, this is a problem in a number of different levels. And like in general too, like he kind of covers or he takes a punch. He doesn't slip and counter. He doesn't have a way to do that. He has to kind of just like, you go, I go, you go, I go. Bro, like that, if a guy has a game plan where my job is to touch two, maybe touch, and then get out, what are you going to do to counter that?
Yeah.
Like, there's no countering available because you're just waiting on it to finish. But by the time it finishes, he's gone,
Yeah.
So this is, to me, like what Strickland and Rodrigues have shown is that if you can hold, and not everyone's going to be able to do it, obviously, but at the higher levels, if you can hold a line on him to not let his grappling advance, it reminds me of a version of Frankie Edgar, to be honest with you. Now, I know Edgar was a champion and a great champion at that, and I respect it. I'm not saying that the two are equivalent. But one of the things that showed up on tape to me, Chuck, years ago, particularly like, for example, ahead of the Max Holloway fight, was that, Frankie's got good boxing. But what really makes it good was the threat of the takedown, because guys just don't know what the hell they're about to be hit with. Once guys were able to take away the threat of the takedown, the boxing became much easier to deal with. You know what I mean?
Yes, 100%.
And I feel like this is similar.
Yeah. I mean, and you mentioned Frankie Edgar. Like, to me, Frankie Edgar, what was the thing in his legacy in the end? It was a lot of it was based on his heart, right? He's fighting guys who are bigger than him, but he like the Gray Maynard one where he's getting rocked and he comes back and he forces a draw where it looks like he's about to be dead like 6 times in that fight. That's kind of starting to be, that's almost starting to be the what we're seeing with Fluffy. I think that the fans love him because he's very vocal. Like, he'll tell you that he, took a broken bottle at his uncle when he was young, trying to, whatever it is. Like, he came up in crazy circumstances, had a crazy life. He's got that it's got that kind of backstory. He doesn't give a damn, man. Every other word is the F word. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's always going to appeal to you. He had the counter or the enhancements of that was that he was winning fights. But what I saw in this one is like, we're going to, what are you really cheering? Like, I feel like it's that he's a no quit kind of guy, that he's going to bring it, that he's going to, like that third round where he comes back after he got chopped down a couple of times in the previous round, and it looks like he's on the brink. He comes back and wins a round. I feel like that's maybe what we're going to see at him, is just this kind of no quit attitude. He's 32 years old. I mean, he's still got some time to, I don't want to write him off. I mean, he's a guy he still should have some shelf life to come back and do something, but he just might be one of those guys, Luke, like where he had his good moment. And once you kind of solve him, like now he's going to be that guy who'll put on your barn burner. He won't quit. He'll come back in weird situations, but I'm not sure I see a future champion, in that sense.
He's got he's 33. So to your point, he's a little bit late for some skill development, but not out of the question by any stretch of the imagination. And I think he's going to have to advance his career. I think he has kind of shown, like, if there are guys who can't, I don't mean to repeat it, but like, lower level guys, even if they're ranked, but lower level ranked guys who can't stand up to that onslaught, he'll break them and then surpass them and then thrash them. But like the higher level guys, The defense is just a little bit better. Now, let me ask this. In terms of what might be next, I think for Fluffy, obviously, someone, honestly, I'm going to say bottom 10, maybe even outside of the top 10 as an opponent, to be perfectly honest with you. But for Rodrigues, he called for DDP. Let's actually play the clip of this, and then you can react.
Okay.
And I respect Rico's. He's a really tough guy. And if you look in the division, I think that's the fight that make a lot of sense. You know, I'm not a warrior, and he's right there close to the title. He just fought Kamaru, my guy, and I think that will be amazing. Maybe another main event. I don't know. So I'm gonna go back home, talk with my managers, talk with the UFC, and we will see it.
Do you like that idea?
Tricky. I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but it is. I mean, you shoot your shot, right? Like he's saying, like, I know the guy was a former champ. If I beat him, obviously I'm right in. Then I should be next. It's a little complicated because what's happening at the top of this division? You know what I mean? Like, is it Hamzat? Like, or are they going Imavov? Like, who's doing what? Have they decided this? And I just missed it. I feel like this is still
no. We don't know yet.
Okay, and I mean, so you got like some confusion up there, and I know that Kaio is facing Pfeiffer, right? Isn't that the fight that they made? So like you got a couple of the guys, or is it Pfeiffer or is it
who is it, Long Island?
I don't think
Pfeiffer.
either of those guys are booked right now. I'm going to look into it.
I thought that they were booked, but maybe it was just speculation. But they've been linked to fight each other. So if that ends up being the case, that takes away two of the guys that could be potential. But I think he should be up there. I think that the UFC should capitalize. You put him in a main event, and it was a nice main event on a fight night, good lively crowd. He comes through. He looks good doing it. I'm like, capitalize on it. Put him against somebody and captivate a little bit. Build the guy up a little bit. So if they want to do, the problem with DDP is like, what do you do with him in that mix? And so neither one of those guys are booked. Okay, maybe I just heard that they were linked together.
Dude,
but
Rodrigues versus Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer
that would
sitting
be
at 4.
This is what I was kind of alluding to. I think somebody like that would be the more logical, the more logical next booking. A guy, he's got a head of steam. This guy's got a head of steam. They're both trying to break through into true contender. I think that would be that type of fight would be good.
A learning lesson for both. A great win for Robocop. They shared a great backstage moment after the fight. Check this out.
Real beast, man. You deserve this position, my brother.
Go get it, man.
No, you're gonna be a champion, man.
One day, baby.
It's hard to hurry, man. Oh my gosh, bro. I should prepare more.
You're telling me.
Yeah, I hope to see you in Florida one day, my man.
Oh, for sure. We'll get together.
I need that. I didn't learn how to get this cardio, bro. They never get tired of this guy. Is incredible.
Thank you, brother. You guys have a safe trip home.
Yes.
It's a war.
Long Island. I was looking at media rankings. Meta rankings have Pfeiffer at 7.
No, so it's confusing with their dial thing, but when
Yeah,
the
I know.
screen is
Fuck.
black, it's media. When the screen is white, it's meta.
Okay,
Because
so
up top
really?
it says it. Read up top. Read the heading. It'll say media or meta.
that's
up
confusing
top.
the
Yeah,
hell.
okay,
Get
but
the
Jose,
toggle.
I'm just asking because on the upper right hand corner it says media meta rankings, right?
Yeah, but then to
When
the
I
left
click
of
it,
that-
it goes white, and to the right of that box it says media ranking.
I know, but then to the left, the big title says Meta UFC rankings, like above everything.
Ah, I see. Well,
Yeah.
why
Yeah,
is it,
it's super
why is it
fucking
backwards?
confusing.
It's really
stupid.
annoying.
But the easy way to remember is when it's in like dark mode. That's the media rankings.
Okay,
Right.
all right. In any case,
Yeah,
fair correction. In any case, Pfeiffer sitting at 7. Rodrigues was at 11. Fluffy was
Right.
at 6, but 6 was right there next to Pfeiffer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You could do de Ridder. I mean, there's a few good ones out there you could still do, but it still sounds like it's the back half of the top 10 no matter what, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the way the UFC. I mean, we have seen so many bookings though this year, particularly in the Paramount Plus era, where a 10 is fighting a 2, that sort of thing, and like the rhyme or reason for anybody below, like say the number 1 contender on, like it becomes a crapshoot. So I mean, honestly, they might do anything. I just think from Robocop's, from where he's at in that kind of performance, you want to capitalize on his momentum. You got to give him somebody in that space who will kind of bring that out even more.
All right. With that in mind, let's go to topic number 2 and get to the rest of that card, both the main and the preliminary card. There is a lot going on here. There was a lot of bright spots. I thought, again, a really fun main event, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
Co-main event, dude. We said it on Friday, Chuck.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why de Ridder versus Dolidze wasn't the co-main, other than I guess they wanted a heavier weight to be co-main, but like it doesn't even have to be that way. It's not like the main event kind of rules. Vitor Petrino defeats Sergei Spivac. He does it, with some takedowns, a little bit of ground and pound, just kind of did it. I mean, are we supposed to care about this?
The crowd didn't. I mean, they were kind of spoiled from like a lot what was going on in the prelims and some of the other fights, but like there were plenty of boos in this fight. You know what I mean? It was just, I think part of the problem is, man, like, it wasn't like Petrino looked bad. Like he did what he's supposed to do. He's in there, he's winning. But like, there's a point in time where I'm going to say like, round and a half in, where you're just like, I don't know if Spivac can do it. Like there's a point in time when you're like, okay, can there be a finish when it hits the third round? And you're like, I don't think so. And I feel like this is common with the heavyweights because you can see them both looking at the clock, both up in air, and it's such a weird thing. And I'm like, I feel like we've seen this so much that when you mention why is de Ridder not the the co-main, this is why I ask. I'm like, the potential of this kind of fight was glaring to me in advance of this fight. It was like, this was what, I mean, honestly, I don't know how you guys thought of. I didn't catch what your predictions were for it, but like, this is the kind of fight I thought it might be. So I thought it might be one of those fights that you're like, well, the crowd kind of suffered through that one. Now let's get on to the main event. So I don't understand it, man. I don't know what it does. I guess Petrino's looking pretty good, like in terms of his streak here, but I don't know how far it really advances him.
I didn't care for this fight. I mean, okay, so for example, Spivac landed 3 significant strikes in all of round 2, but Petrino had a takedown and then 4 minutes of control time. Okay. Petrino had no minutes of control time in round number 1, and Spivac had 7 strikes.
Oh, man.
Like, why am I watching this?
Yeah.
I don't like. It's amazing how much UFC's heavyweight division has turned into Bellator's heavyweight division.
100%. And somebody had told me, before this fight card happened, like at the beginning of the week, said Spivac is the co-main event, and you're like, well, wait a minute, but you're looking at just the co-main, like the top fight is good, and so is the third fight. We should never be having that discussion, like, because people do look at the first 2 fights, I just hope that they learn something from this. They won't, but I'm like, you hope that the UFC sort of, the pecking order matters in this way. You're trying to build momentum to your main event. I don't like it when we throw something on there kind of inexplicably that kills momentum between fights. Like, it's just, that's what this one did for me. It didn't need it. The card was really good. I mean, honestly, like, it played out very exciting, right? Lots of finishes, lots of first round finishes. It just felt unnecessary to have that stuffed in there.
Bro, you know how we have like contender series to like get into the UFC?
Yes.
We should have a contender series to like stay in, like loser leaves town every single time. You know what I mean?
Man, yes, yeah.
And this is where I would
sold.
put that.
Yeah.
All right, but the much better fight on this card, but the one below it, I thought would be actually is the feature fight. Excuse me, Reinier de Ridder defeating Roman Dolidze. He does it at 4:01 of round number 1. Okay, look, you can see the finish here. I mean, this is if you're asking, hey, what happened in this fight? Basically, just this. Listen to this stat line for Roman Dolidze. Okay, listen to the stat line: 1 significant strike.
Oh my God!
A total of 4 landed. Okay. 0 takedowns, 0 sub attempts, 0 reversals, 0 control time, and of course 0 knockdowns. He landed 1 significant strike.
That's like the Sophie Cunningham stat lines people keep pointing out, man.
This is the who is it? Who was the Lithuanian shooter for the Wiz?
Oh. Yes, I saw somebody put like 20 minutes or something. He had 0, 0, 0, 0. Is that what you're talking about?
Martins or something like that. I forget his name. He was like a ginger from Lithuania, and he had all the zeros all the way through.
Wait, dude, he pulls guard. Like, I don't even know what Dolidze was thinking. Like, you're going against a kind of declarated grapple. Let me pull guard. I mean, you put yourself in, like, you just happily traipsed across a minefield, right? And it like played out that way. I don't even know what the game plan there was.
I mean, here's the thing for me, and I don't know what's going on in Roman's professional life or personal life, and I'm not saying it's in turmoil. I don't mean to suggest as much. I literally do not know. I don't even want to speculate. But it feels to me when I watch performances like this that their interests are elsewhere, or they're preoccupied by something elsewhere. Because to your point, Chuck, he pulls guard. He goes to something called K guard, where again, it's a choice you can make. It's, and then he uses that to try to go into like a knee bar action and then some heel hooks, or at least attempted leg locks. And it doesn't work because like it's early in the fight and de Ridder's real good at this. Like, it's just not going to be that easy. And then when it didn't work, it just fell apart immediately. Like usually when you see something like that, especially for like, on the regional scene, you see stuff like this all the time. But like there, it's guys who are not that good, or, this person's an accountant in their real life, or, something where you can kind of sense that like they're just not committed to this in a way that like a higher level guy would be. And that's part of MMA. Like some people figure it out, some people don't. It's whatever. But to see a guy who is like highly ranked, relatively speaking anyway, inside the UFC's middleweight division to do this, it's just really unusual for the UFC level. Like you can usually see more fire to commit. And I think he was like, either this is going to work or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, I'm done.
Right. That's what it looked like.
This wasn't hard for RDR.
Yeah. He's 38 years old, and he's moving up a weight. And maybe this is part of the thinking. It's just like, you know what? I'm gonna do this thing, and if it not, I don't know. I mean,
205. I said middleweight's 205.
Yeah. But like he moves up. But like Dolidze, I know for a fact from talking to him that he owns a grocery store, a chain. I'm not sure which, in his home country, and he's got business going on elsewhere. And I think that and I'm not saying that like distracts him. I know he's got a good fallback, but it probably like he's a very rational thinker, and I'm guessing that he probably realizes that one foot is out the door. But yeah, that's just one of those things. Like, let me ask you this, man, because we were talking about Islam, and I think we've had some other instances, maybe Hamzat of late, where guys who are, they get it to where they want on the ground. Now, I'm not saying that de Ridder took him there, but once he's there, you had to have been a little bit happy to see some of that ground and pound action back in service, right? Because this is one of those, like, this was the vicious ground and pound that I feel like is missing sometimes from these other guys' games when they get dudes in positions to kind of set up things. And it felt to me almost like de Ridder was like, I feel like he wants to get some TKO finishes, like finishes with punches and elbows and things like that, just because he can break a narrative and show that he's got more to his weaponry. But what did you think about that? His ground and pound seemed pretty good to me.
For RDR?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say because it's like
the other guy's so checked out. Like,
it wasn't like a resisting opponent.
Yeah.
I mean, he's barely covering here,
Yeah.
He's not, look at him. He's on his, okay. So I don't know if there's a way to pause these, but like, if you look at it, RDR, okay. So this is the part, right? If you can see right here, Dolidze's still on his knees.
Yeah.
He's still on his knee. Dude, if you're on your knees, put your fucking butt in the air, like quad pod, force him forward, and then see if this is a way to disrupt it. Like you're not even attempting to disrupt his balance. And it's just, I've seen him fight with more intensity than this. I mean, that's the other part too.
Sure.
It's like, you could say how Dolidze, how good he is, how you can rank him wherever, but have I seen him commit to even defensive action more aggressively than this? I feel like I have, like, dude, he's like kind of a layup for RDR.
Dolidze had like 2 or 3 main events. I mean, he was that like fight night type main event. So like he was that high up for a while. So to see this, I know what you're saying. It's hard to look past a really bad performance where you just don't feel like the dude's heart's in it,
Yeah,
we've seen him though. We've seen him at his best, and I just didn't feel like that's what we were watching.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think he like threw the fight or something like that, but I just think internally, what's ever compelling him to fight back, the voice is speaking to him more softly than it once did.
Yeah.
And you get results like that when this happens. So nice win for RDR. I just don't know what it means exactly at 205.
I felt good for him. You see his response to that, man. He was very emotional and said he's away from his kids. So, I mean, yes, maybe he made it. Maybe we should give him some credit for making it look easy. But at the same time, good for him. You like guys like that who it means that much to go in there and perform.
Yeah, 2 months away from your kids, like this is not easy.
Crazy, man.
Very difficult.
Crazy.
All right, that takes us to, I gotta say, I think I wasn't hating on this guy, but I just wasn't convinced this was going to be much. Once again, got this one wrong. How about MarQuel Mederos? I'm not sure how to say his name correctly. Defeating Mason Jones. Okay, man, he does it with these elbows.
Oh my God,
this is awesome. What I loved about this. I want you to play this one back to back for me, Long Island, because I want to talk this through, and then Chuck, I'll pitch it to you.
Yeah.
When we go back here, pay attention. What he does here is he's going to land an elbow on the right side here. Watch. boom, and then back to the punch.
I know, yeah.
So notice what happens. He's playing with the range at close range and then mid range, and he's switching up the weapons. This is very similar to what Carlos Condit did to Thiago Alves, if you might remember, in their fight, playing with the elbows because the other person just thinks, oh, I'm so close, they're not going to be able to hit me with anything. And then you get smashed with elbows as a consequence. Dude, this was great. He wins in the second round. Jones was in this fight. This was a competitive, good fight. But Mederos, man, hell of a win. Salute. What'd you think, Chuck?
I mean, I was surprised because I thought Mason Joe, again, it's one of those types of things where you're kind of banking on the dude he's showing you he's going to go in there and he's going to throw down, and all implications are that he's going to have a showcase almost. And I mean, I think he was a big enough favorite too. Like he was something like minus 300 or something, right? Long Island. He was up there.
Yeah, he was like minus 350,
which is, I mean, I love it because it's a dude putting his foot in the ground and saying, I'm not on my watch. But you're right, man. We see guys a lot of times in the range where they overshoot with their punches from inside because they don't think to do this. They don't think to throw elbows. You'll hear a lot of times coaches saying that, hey, give him an elbow in there. Like you'll hear that type of thing and they just don't do it. But I will say that like John Crouch, like he's one of the, like do you remember like Jerry Sloan or somebody like that of Utah Jazz? Like it didn't matter who he's fielding out there. He'd put out whatever team he's going to put out. Might be like 5 white dudes you never heard of, but they would still compete or they would win. And you'd be like, how does he do that? How does he do that? I feel like this is kind of what John Crouch has these days. It's like, if you see one of his guys come into a fight, you almost want to pay attention because they're going to be well coached and they're going to listen to what he's saying, So that was fun, man. That was a great fight, I thought.
I loved it. Let's go through some of the prelim card here. Carly Judice, man, just fucking putting the.
She was on the main card. She was on the main card.
Oh, it was main card. I apologize.
Yeah,
sorry,
right,
it's the different part of my screen. I apologize. Yes. Yeah. Carly Judice looked awesome. Moves to 7-2. That was fun. She's a fucking dynamo.
Yeah,
at flyweight. I'm really
sniper.
Her and Fatima Klein both have these styles of striking where it's kind of like a fuck you style. You know what I mean?
It is 100%.
Everything's
thrown with intention to end the fight. I mean, you can get by with that a lot. Obviously, you want to reel that back against like a really, really good fighter, but like, yes, it's always fun when somebody's just straight headhunting like that, right?
This one just, I mean, what the fuck were we doing? Anthony Wint defeats Terrence Chapman via head and arm triangle, which is fine. There was no big problem with that one, but this whole thing was weird. Wint, who was a former NFL linebacker, I believe, for the Jets. Like, again, I called one of his fights. He's a fucking, you can see the physique. He's first team all traps. I mean, there's no question about it.
Yes.
But okay, first of all, he wins in the Contender Series too easily. So they give him a fight with another guy coming off the regional scene, which I don't quite understand. But anyway, it's fine. But he beats him. The guy off the regional scene, Chuck, I mean...
Choose wisely, Luke,
I just try... Okay. You are an untalented zero. Yeah. No, that's not true. He's not an untalented zero. But I just want folks to
ventriloquism there. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want folks to understand. Chapman tries a Kimura from underneath side control. Okay. What year is this? Like, how the fuck are we here? Dude, that is something you will see from people who've been rolling maybe less than 6 months. Like that is just never. And the reason why you don't want to do it is because, one, the only way to really make it work is you have to like roll them. You could roll them if they don't know what they're doing. You can roll them over and then you have a Kimura if you can step over the head. But like in general, you have to, like, once you get it, you have to move your whole body over, which kind of defeats the purpose from being underneath. It doesn't allow you to really do much. Plus, what people ends up just happening is they just move their arm here and then it stops. There's no real way to apply force unless your body moves with it. So that's one of the big problems, okay? The second problem is like that's how Matt Hughes armbar GSP. You never, ever, ever want to Kimura someone underneath or to attempt to Kimura someone underneath from side control because anybody good is going to step around and then snatch your shit. Like, you just can't do that. Anthony Wint just like waited for them to like basically let it go, and then he submitted him, which is nice. And then after the fight, Chuck, Wint told who was it? I think Full Send, something like that.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, I have no idea how to defend that."
Oh my God, dude.
I was like,
we're in the age of honesty, Luke. I mean, 2026.
which is fine because the truth is, like, no one good is ever going to do that to you.
Yeah.
And even someone bad who tries it is almost never going to get it to work. So, like, you kind of don't need to know the defense other than if you want to just counter with an armbar. But, like, anybody good is never going to try that. Dude, is it 2003 again? What the fuck?
I know, that's what. Well, dude, this is like when people talk about UFC caliber. It used to mean something more, did it? I mean, this is what you like. You see too much of this these days where you're like, why, why is this guy here? I don't, why are guys being rushed, I guess? If they have potential, why are they being rushed into these positions? And I guess it's just because they have to fill spots. But yeah, that was a weird one. Long Island was saying that even though Went was minus 1,000, like what was the submission? Like it was
sub was plus 700. Even though he was a minus 1,000 favorite. Gaff cashed on it. Shut up.
See, I mean, that's sharp. That's why Gav is sharp, right? Like it's because he can identify this sort of thing.
Is Went of Haitian ancestry?
No, I literally called it out before the fight. I was like, why is this fucking plus 700? That's crazy. Gaff was like, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm not.
And you didn't do it.
Yeah, but he cashed on it, so I got to give him the credit.
That's good.
I know a lot of what determines Gaff's betting is whether a guy is or isn't Haitian.
Speaking of Stanley Dorsonville earlier on this card, the Haitian sensation, man.
We'll get to that. Let's move through this if we can. Jamal Emmers with a fucking blistering right hand. Watch, he blinds off the left. You can't quite see from this angle. He blinds off the left and hammers him with the right against Le'Veon Douglas. According to Cub Swanson, broke his orbital in the process. That was a phenomenal one. Don't know if you have a reaction because I kind of want to move through these quickly.
No,
Joe.
go ahead, man. Go ahead.
All right. Then Shamil Gaziev. Dude, what was Kennedy and Zechukwu doing here
all night? This was the best thing all night.
He puts his hand, keep it rolling. Like, I don't even know what to fucking say about this. Watch this shit. Like, Gaziev was like, bop. Okay. Bop. I mean, what the fuck? Dude, this is the best part about Kennedy. Watch this. Like last time, we're gonna play it one more time.
He tried to be Anderson Silva.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what it looked like.
He moves to the power side. Why would you move to the power side?
So dumb, dude.
Oh, dude.
What's that old saying? Like those who play stupid games win stupid prizes or whatever. Yeah.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Congrats. Chris Padilla, Taco with a win at the literal last second of round number 3, 4:59. With a head and arm triangle here, essentially. Watch this here. He's kind of got it locked up standing. You can get it standing, but you got to have a big-ass fucking squeeze. Then he takes it to the ground. Now that's when he can really apply it, right? Look at him like pushing into it. There it is. And then he gets the squeeze, puts out Hack Parast. Nice win by Taco. Long Island, he cashed again as the dog?
So I got him at plus 102 on Thursday, but he technically closed as a favorite. So I don't know how to feel. He cashed as a dog for me, but technically not. But I was telling our other producer, Matt Snyder, that I had him by decision as well, and he gets the fucking sub.
Oh my God.
Last second of the fight.
That's got to be heartbreaking. That's a bad beat.
Yeah.
And by the way, shout out Frank Trigg in there and Chris Lieben as a judge, all of our old school UFC guys in the California. Yeah.
Marcio Barbosa with a nice left hook over Ryan Hughes. Let's see that here. Kind of can't because Herzog's in the way. Let's see. Oh yeah, then he just.
This was one of the weirder things. It was almost Shane Burgos, Edson Barboza-esque. Like he just like deer in headlights stared back at Barboza after getting hit, and then 5 seconds later, Herzog stepped in.
Yeah, just not even moving. He didn't protest afterwards either. By the way,
registration. Yeah.
As you indicated, Stan Dorsonville defeating Gage G Money Young. Who was the guy on the show Friday who said put all your money on Gage Young?
Danny Segura.
That would be Danny Segura, yes.
Yeah. don't do that. But a hell of a win. Sloppy fight, if I'm being honest. But, Dorsonville coming on off short notice. He was only his 6th fight total, Chuck.
Yeah.
But he had a sloppy one. That was a nice one. Jason McVeigh with a first-round knee to the body over Wes Schultz. Boom. Look at that. Folded him instantly. You got to love that one.
Hopefully no relation to the Oklahoman.
It's like, did your relative kill a bunch of people?
And in MMA, they might just be like, hey, that's my relative. They'd be happy about it.
Yeah, they'd be like, we love that guy.
Yeah.
All right. Chanel Dyer, however, in round 3, stopping Elise Reed. Bit of an onslaught here. Yeah, that's kind of what she does, sort of an accumulator. I said I'd liked her stuff coming off the Contender Series. Good to see her get a couple of wins here as a consequence.
She looked good in her debut in London. Wasn't that her debut, the one she got like a performance? So that's a nice – I mean, she's putting it together quickly for 25. I like it.
And she had a tough run. Her opponent 4-0 on Contender Series turns out to be pretty good.
Yeah.
So even not winning that one is not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Chuck, are you excited about your Broncos being back?
Oh yeah, baby. I'm jumping. It's 9.5 is what they have them listed wins wise. I mean, the disrespect, Luke. 14 game winner last year, make it to the AFC Championship, lose Bo Nix, and yet 9.5. This is what the national media and the bettors think of the Denver Broncos.
Your coach still putting bounties on people? How's that going?
Of course, man. This is Peyton we're talking about.
Well, I'll tell you what. However you feel about the football season, and certainly I'm excited here in DC. Football is back, and something big is coming on September 2nd. September 2nd, it's going to be DraftKings Game Day arriving. All right? Don't forget, DraftKings is now live in all 50 states. One app, every sport, all 50 states. New DraftKings customers sign up with the code KOMBAT, that's KOMBAT. Spend $5 to get 200 in rewards within 21 days. Includes all markets. That's code KOMBAT, KOMBAT. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-MY-RESET. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, bet tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus, void in Canada. Event contract trading with DraftKings predictions involves risk of loss. Availability varies. Predictions offer void in New York. Bet to get bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Trade to get predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. $50 in rewards issued every 7 days via click to claim for 21 days. One non-withdrawable reward redeemable. Terms at dkng.co/offer. Limited time offer. Nationwide based on sportsbook predictions, and free-to-play sports contest availability varies by state. All right. With that in mind, let's turn our attention, if we can now, to topic number 3, which was the PFL in Tampa. We start with Cris Cyborg, who took a unanimous decision victory over debuting PFL fighter, but longtime UFC vet Ketlen Vieira. This was in the main event. Now, this was at 145. If you can believe it, Vieira missed weight by almost 8 pounds. But the bout turned out to be something of an unexpected slugfest, if I do say so myself, with Cyborg prevailing. So, Chuck, it's certainly impressive that Cyborg can still win fights like this, and I want to talk about why in just a minute. But, like, what lesson should we infer from this? I mean, she's had so many wins, so many accolades. I think this is highly impressive. What is your review of it?
It's definitely impressive because the way she had to win this fight was, she wasn't just going to ragdoll Ketlen through the, like this wasn't one of those situations you could see that, this is a very sturdy. What was Vieira, like 7 pounds over? Like she was
7
big in
change,
yeah, and she wasn't going to move off of her moorings. Like I feel like in past Cyborg fights, especially going back in the days, like she could just kind of throw you around. She could whip you just about anywhere. It was clear that she had to be more methodical in something like this at 41 years old. Outstrike her, which I thought she did kind of consistently throughout this fight. And did enough, like just really like looking much younger. And I don't know if she ever gets the full credit for who she's been over the years. I don't know how you feel about this, like, because they make a big ceremony of it, and like it was cool to see that. It was cool to see that she's coming into the situation, but we're not sure if it'll be her last fight. Now I feel fairly certain that it's not going to be her last fight, but I just have never felt like she got her flowers. And in part that could be because, it could be because of Dana. It could be like she didn't fight in the UFC. It could be Dana White kind of like disparaging her, back in the day. It could be any, her beating up bantamweights coming up to meet her weight and all that stuff. Like it could be the steroid thing. Remember in 2011, like there are a lot of factors that have affected her career. But to see her do this, I mean, you can't help but be impressed, right? Like this is a 41-year-old, woman going in there in a hard task. I think there's only one person who put away Vieira, and that was, years ago. I think it was Aldana, like in 2019, something like that. Like it's been a long time. It's tough to put her away. She's a very sturdy opponent. And obviously, she came in there. Who knows what was going on with her weight cut? But dude, that's a very thankless thing to have to try to, to beat Vieira when she's as big as that, So like, I think that I thought it was fine. I mean? I think people they think that you're going to get more Jan Finney or the Leslie Smith days sometimes with her. It's that's an unfair bar to hold her to at this point. So the way she won is kind of modern MMA. She had to do it the way she did it, and she got it done.
I mean, I thought this was especially impressive. One, as you indicated, she missed weight to Vieira by a huge margin. Two, she was trying to back Cyborg up for most of that fight.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying she did it successfully. She lost. She especially lost on volume. The overall amount of stuff Cyborg was able to do, a lot of wing and overhands and then inside cut kicks the other way. But in general, dude, like she had to kind of bite down on the mouthpiece. There was, some takedowns involved here. Vieira got a couple of them herself, right? So, I mean, some of judo trips and whatnot. Like, dude, she was like attacking Cyborg. This is not someone who was trying to like point fight and move. This was someone who was trying to back Cyborg up, who was trying to back her down and was willing to like bite down on the mouthpiece to do it. Cyborg at 41 was able to land more, move more, and then just basically win. It was the same kind of thing, a 49-46 or a 48-47 type of scenario, and she still got it done at 41 years of age. But I will say this, Chuck, I will say this. This is maybe one of the first times. It's not like we see Cyborg all the time or something like that, right? She competes more infrequently now, but she did look old to me.
Yeah.
Not like washed, not terrible. Hello, she just fucking won against a UFC vet, much younger, who was overweight. But, one of the things, when they used to say it, I didn't quite know what they meant, but now I have a much keener sense of it. When old boxing dudes are talking about their legs not moving them well, I want to be clear. I'm not saying she moved poorly. That's really not what I'm saying. Again, certainly enough to win. Yeah. And impressively in certain ways. But her ability to move, Chuck, is not what it once was, noticeably so, right? Her ability to like lateral movement, the balance, the spring from her legs, to me, looks like it's starting to go, which is natural. She's in her 40s. This is going to happen to every athlete. It's not an insult. It's just an observation. And so to me, Chuck, we don't know if it's her last one, but when I can visibly tell that you're able to win because you're in great shape, you're certainly more well-rounded than virtually all of her opponents, almost ever. Not quite totally, but most of them. And you got so many ways to win. You've been in so many, difficult contests. You can't just be anything but like, wow, man, we're watching one of the all-time greats. But I think in getting this win, even in the gritty way that she got it, I'm concerned about like going forward. If she calls it a day, I'll be very, very relieved here, because I think this could kind of go bad if it continues to go much longer.
I don't think she's going to hang it up, man.
You don't?
I don't think so. But part of was this the last fight on her PFL? Did we know? Like, isn't that what she said or something along those lines? I'm not sure where it stands. But I mean, obviously with Scott Coker coming back into the game, she's got a friendship there.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I mean, how this will be like. But here's the thing, though. Like, Cyborg herself has always kind of put herself on a pedestal in terms of how the public views her, more than maybe that. Actually, it's an imbalance, because I think that she's always seen herself as a kind of must-see fighter, but I just don't feel like the world sees. So when she's mentioning Clarissa Shields, for instance, or like fighting Ronda, like we've talked about the Ronda fight before, it's just not going to happen. I don't think there's an appetite to see her against Clarissa Shields. So if she does come back, I feel like what's going to be is like somebody like this again, right? It's going to be somebody else who's like, okay, we can meet on these certain terms and I'll fight Cyborg. I can be the one besides Amanda Nunes to beat her, right? Like, and to close out her career, whatever it is. We're going to see that, but I just don't think it's going to be the marquee name. Like right now, I think she's kind of fishing for like, can I get a super fight type thing? But do you foresee anybody like, I guess putting her, I'm not sure she ever got that kind of name brand, like where people are pining to see her against Clarissa Shields, for instance, or something like that. Do you have a sense on that? That's what I think she wants, but I don't think she's going to get that.
She has done some boxing. She's done pretty well. Dude, I've always admired Cyborg's courage.
Do you remember how big of a deal it was, at least for us in the inner bubble, when she lost that kickboxing match in like 2014
to Jarena Bars?
Yes, Jarena Bars, and it was like one of those things that you were like, what? Like because it was so inconceivable that she could lose a combat fight, like in any combat. Like I had to go watch the whole thing. You know what I mean? It was just like one of those like, this is crazy, and it would kind of unsung in the end to people on the outside world, because I don't think that everybody else just kind of followed her the way that we were in the bubble. You know what I mean? So I feel like she's kind of stuck in that space still to this day.
I mean, I'll say this. if you've never seen the Jorina Bars fight, people are like, well, who's Jorina Bars? Dude, Bars fucked Cyborg up.
Yeah.
The fact that Cyborg made it to the finish line in that fight was something kind of remarkable. But to your point, she's never been afraid of challenges. She's never been afraid of like taking on all comers. She's never been afraid. She faced down Amanda Nunes and she lost.
Right.
But she faced her down, like she went out there and she tried it. But to your point, it's like what she's doing now, it's almost like, she wants, it looks, what I can tell if what you're saying is accurate, Chuck, like she wants some kind of big fight or big star treatment.
A big money fight. Yeah.
Yeah. But she's doing, like, to me, like a slightly more elevated version of what Jim Miller is doing, Right.
That's exactly it. That's
exactly
and so
there's a gap there between what's happening and what is going to reasonably raise attention for a future bout of consequence.
And I think that, like, for Ketlen Vieira, that type of fighter, they're hey, I get to fight Cyborg, I get a chance to like beat her. That's sort of like what they were doing with Anderson Silva at the end. They're like, people who could face him are like, yeah, put me up against him now. You know what I mean? Because I can beat him. I feel like we're going to see some of that. I just don't think it's going to be like a marquee name.
Man, I forgot that Coker might just employ her till she's 75. I forgot about that.
And then we just don't know the game plan over there either. Like I could foresee this happening.
Have you heard anything about anyone signing with them? I haven't heard a fucking word, dude.
Not yet. It's been very quiet. Actually, they invited me to some kind of like kickoff gala that's happening, I think, in September.
Where?
I guess it's in New York City somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's coming up. So I guess we'll learn more on that date.
You gonna go?
I think so. If I'm around, I'll definitely go check it out because I'm curious, as to what's going to be the the game plan to kind of go against not just UFC but like MVP's foray and all this stuff. There's a lot of unanswered questions. I just want to see are they just kind of like spit shining the old Strike Force model and trying that again, or are they trying something else?
Well, give them my best.
I will, yes.
Gadzi Rabadanov gets
a
win over Tracy Reeder. I don't know what the fuck the point of this fight was. He wins it via ground and pound at 4:38 of round number 1. I don't really care about that. Rabadanov was like a gigantic favorite heading into this one, and he got a first round stoppage. Like, congrats.
Yeah.
The one that's more interesting to me is the Sabrina de Souza fight against Tyla Santos. Tyla Santos, UFC vet. You recall she lost to Ditchevova, then got back on the horse more recently. Well, Sabrina de Souza gets the win. Now, I think she's natively Brazilian, Chuck, but for whatever reason, I'm not sure what the origin is. She represents Bahrain. I don't know what happened there. I mean, I guess they're paying her to, they pay a lot of athletes to live in Bahrain and then sort of compete for them.
Yeah. Remember, they used to invite the media out there all the time. They were like, come to Bahrain. They wanted media presence out there.
See, people don't bother me. They don't bother inviting me to this shit.
Yeah.
Because they know I'm going to be like, I'm sorry, what? What would you like me to do?
You want me to fly all the way to, no.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. However, she looked awesome. She was marching Santos down in this fight. She was landing the crisper combinations. She was landing good body work. She got hit a little bit herself. Again, we don't have fucking stats on this, which drives me absolutely up the wall. But for me, as a dark horse figure at 125, I feel like De Souza, one of these names you should keep your eye on. She's not yet in the Dakota Ditcheva sweepstakes, who, by the way, I know is also injured. And we already got this Jenna Bishop fight with Liz Carmouche on the horizon. But, Chuck, I don't think De Souza's that far behind.
Dude, she looked very, very comfortable on her feet. Did she not? Like the way she was kind of moving, sticking. And I felt like, she's young too, right? Like she's 25 or something like that. Yeah. Oh, I was trying to talk through you there. But yeah, she just looked very, very comfortable on her feet. I know that this was her first. I feel like this was her first declarative win because I think her previous ones were pretty close fights. Like she had to kind of toil to get through them. But at that young age and just kind of where she's at, yeah, man, they should be hyped for that. I think that's what they've got to get. Like as a PFL MVP, whatever, it becomes in the new year. They need more of that. They need these younger people to start showing up and build these names organically.
And Jake Paul has proven he knows how to promote certainly women's boxing.
Sure, yeah, 100%.
I think if you're a young, up and coming, real talented, female fighter with the PFL, this is a good chance to start showcasing what you can do. And I think she absolutely did that. Luke Traynor gets a second round KO. I wish we had the video. Oh, we do have the video of this. Watch this front kick to the face. You'll see it coming here. There we go. So, we'll just give it a minute. Actually, this
boom.
There it is. Yeah. Show it one more time.
It's like the
He's gonna
longest
back up.
fucking lead up ever. Sorry.
yeah.
It's like 10 seconds of lead up.
Stop
I
him
know.
down,
Sorry,
stop
he
him
backs
down.
up and he puts his foot on the fence. Let's see.
Another dude putting his
Yeah,
hands.
bop, and just absolutely sent him fucking
Yeah.
packing. Now, I'll say this. I was high on Luke Trainer. I'm still high on Luke Trainer. I think he seems like he's a very interesting prospect at 205. The fight did suck for a while before this. I just want to say, like, the crowd was booing at the end of the first round. However, I've been kind of high on Luke Trainer, 11-1, multi-stoppages in a row. 205 needs guys who can do something. I'll just say this, Chuck, a guy to keep your eye on, right? I think that seems fair.
People forget all about the booing when you knock somebody out like that, right? It's just, that's going to be the highlight package. So that was nice.
Then we have the Daniel Marcos fight against Magomedov, which was an absolute fucking horror show. Magomedov basically dislocates his arm.
Yeah.
And it's at the end of round 2 that they see that it's fucking broken or dislocated. They start round 3 any fucking way. And then his corner throws the towel 11 seconds in. We got this tweet from Bronstetter who was trying to explain what happened. Magomedov's corner should have never been put in that position. The referee shouldn't be calling a timeout in the event of an injury. Once the fight is stopped for an injury, it should be waved off. Did I miss this? Because it's 11 seconds of round 3. I thought that they went to the break and then Long Island.
So in between rounds, it was dislocated and Islam's
Yeah.
trying to put it back in. And then I think they start round 3. Then the ref called timeout 11 seconds.
Okay.
Or no, I guess maybe they threw. I don't know, actually, Luke. I didn't watch the fight. I got to be honest. I just saw it on Twitter.
I watched
but,
it in real time, but I missed that part. I missed
But
that.
Bronstetter was basically saying as soon as the ref stepped in to call a timeout, it should have
Yeah.
just ended there.
Yeah.
Islam should
But
have.
dude, the ref looked at him, Chuck, with a dislocated arm and was like, keep going. And I'm like, oh my God,
I don't get
what
it,
the
man.
fuck are you doing?
I don't get that at all. Good job.
Good
I
win,
mean, yeah, good win though for a dude who like had a good run in the UFC too. You know what I mean? But just, I don't even know. Did we get the story as to why he was cut or like let go? But like,
I'm not sure.
but I mean, that's a great win for him. I feel like they were just sort of feeding him to a guy, and it's like, nope, let me reverse this on you.
Javed Basharat gets a win
Yeah,
over
another
Movsar
one.
Ibragimov. He gets dropped in the fight, but he managed to survive. Dakota Bush, who is there in the attendance, was let's see, there was Grant Dawson, Kayla Harrison, a bunch of ATT donks. They were super happy when he got the win over Marquez Forrest. And then Natan Schultz gets a win. Gino Van Steenis, the brother of Costello Van Steenis. And then Owen Sheridan, by the way. Do we have the video of that? The Owen Sheridan KO?
No.
Oh, man, he had a fucking
No one-
phenomenal KO in the first round over James Vake.
I got to say PFL. I don't know if it's PFL PR or just the fans in attendance, but no one ever posts videos of the finishes. We were lucky to find that Luke Trainer one. You can barely find anything
yeah.
on these highlights.
Weird.
I don't know what the issue is, but fun event in general.
Yeah. What about Cyborg calling out Harrison though? That's got to pique your interest, right? I mean,
What do we
see,
do?
that's the problem. That is the problem right there.
All right, let's go to topic number 4. We don't have to spend a ton of time on this, but I have found this situation baffling and strange and weird, and I guess I want to talk about it. So before last Friday's episode, and certainly since then, Eddie Hearn has been seemingly at war, not only with Dana White and Zuffa Boxing, but maybe even the Saudis as well, at least as it relates to the Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury proposed fight. Now, I want to lay the groundwork here. Basically, a couple things have happened, Chuck. All right, we're going to play a video here. We may not play the whole thing, but we'll play Eddie ranting a little bit here.
All right.
Basically, everybody except Eddie Hearn and maybe Anthony Joshua, but that part's less clear, but certainly Eddie Hearn, they don't want the fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua at Wembley. They want it in New York. They want it on November 20th at MSG. Why? Because they're going to make a lot more money that way. It's just a bigger amount of money you can make. And the other problem is too, Chuck, if you put at Wembley the fight, you'd have to get special permission to last past 11 p.m., which is the curfew.
Yeah.
And the ring walks wouldn't happen until 2 a.m. East Coast time in the States. So thered be a lot of complications related there. That's not to say they couldn't do it, but, it's a little different. And so what ends up happening is Eddie Hearn apparently sent a letter, an addendum to Sella, right? This is the Saudi promotional company that owns, I think, 60% of Zuffa Boxing. And what he basically says is apparently Tyson Fury's contract doesn't specify this, but Anthony Joshua's contract specifies specifically that the fight against Fury has to be at Wembley or in the UK. And he's saying that on top of that, y'all didn't pay him for his last fight fully. So if we're going to talk about moving this, there's a few things that have to get met here. Now, what people are claiming is that there's a second a second letter that he has sent to Sella, because you recall Matchroom also has like a snooker deal and all kinds of stuff, and he wants extra stuff for it. So here is a situation where Eddie is saying, hey, look, these guys are trying to put this in New York, and Dana's trying to trying to promote this. That's a non-starter for me. We can move it to New York under a set of circumstances, but Dana can't be involved. Zuffa Boxing can't be involved. And if we're going to move it, by the way, you got to do back pay. And then other people are saying Eddie is just trying to leverage more money out of the situation and then using the Joshua contract to get in the way. Here's Eddie ranting.
We've signed a contract, so like we're in. All we need is for Turkey Shake or Netflix to call us and say, Wembley Stadium or wherever in the UK, this is the date. We'll have the press conference this week. It's done. But what they want to do is they want to pay Anthony Joshua less money, because that's how it will work out with the difference in location. They want him to do a load of additional stuff. And I'm not going to blow things up, which I could do so easily, but there has been breaches in AJ's contract already, which we've let slide because these guys are our partners, or are, and our friends, or were. But there's a game being played at the moment where some of you guys, and a lot of people who aren't in this room, are being fed emails and information to try and dress things up to spin a narrative that's just not true. And I'll address that now. Lance Pugmire phones me up, and I had a number of other calls as well. This email's just landed on my desk from you. Firstly, that's a plant, right? That's what is known as a plant. And it was sent by TKO to journalists to basically try, to a number of journalists, to basically try and, I actually was told by a number of people that they're actually financially incentivizing people to repost Tyson Fury's story of him trying to spin the narrative. It's absolutely wild what's going on. And it's like, the email that was sent was an email between Matchroom and Sella detailing outstanding points that we want resolved. The addendum that was sent to Sella regarding the changes that we want to the contract if you want to do the fight in the US did not have one of those things from that leaked email in.
Okay, I know there's a lot of moving parts here. There is one more much shorter Eddie clip talking about Anthony Joshua has not received all of his payments for the Prenga fight. Watch this.
Has Anthony Joshua been paid for the Prenga fight?
I'm not going to go into that at the moment. That's a contractual position that will be left for another day. Okay.
Well, that's a bit weird, isn't it? Why wouldn't you answer that? He's either has or he hasn't, or not. It's not that deep. I'm literally got social media on my phone right now.
Next question.
Okay.
I didn't know
Beans and tuna.
It's Alfred Hitchcock doing interviews. I love it.
Yeah. What the fuck is going on?
I don't know. Doesn't it feel like, I hope that it's not just Hearn like having BC episodes of conspiracy theories and stuff, but it does feel like doesn't this feel a little bit just like, I know that he's a businessman, but it feels like it's more than that. It feels like there's just the spurned element. I don't know if this is the side of it, if it's Zuffa Boxing, if that they're kind of working together to his exclusion. I don't know exactly where it all stems, but it feels to me like, like the types of things that are being made public and they're going back and forth and the defensive nature of this. It just feels like, like the ultimatum sort of thing about fighting in UK or not. It just feels like we're dealing in some heavy stuff for Hearn, who's like being, getting sick of being like pushed around a little bit at this moment in time. You know what I mean? Like, especially like, if there's sizable, back pay that hasn't been resolved, that's an issue that obviously, like, you can see why that would be bothersome, especially because they're working with like the types of things you're mentioning, the darts and the snooker and all that stuff is like, we don't look at that stuff, but these are big industries. And I know that there's a lot of money in that, but it just feel to me, it feels to me a little bit like it's all being aired now in the sense like, and that Hearn is sticking up for himself. You know what I mean? Doesn't it feel this way to you? Like he's just saying, like, because Dana, like, constantly, like, oh, Eddie Hearn, don't listen to that dude. Come on, man, he's the son of, blah, blah, blah. I feel like it's just one of those situations where Hearn's kind of striking back at something. At the same time, I don't know the numbers on this, and I don't know the deficits, and I don't know those types of things until you really find out what we're dealing with to understand how petty this sort of thing is. But I tell you what, if the Fury contract, and it's different than obviously the AJ one, if AJ's contract says specifically the UK, I feel like that they've got to account for that, right? You like legally, I can understand that. I feel like you can't just say like, oh, we're going to do this for the same money if it's a different circumstance. So I feel like he's onto something with that, but all this other stuff, it just feels like Eddie's like sick of being pushed around.
I think the other part too that I can glean from this is like he's basically suggesting that remember there's 2 letters that basically came from Eddie. One was about the Anthony Joshua fight with Fury, and a second one about the larger matchroom thing. And what he's insinuating here, and I know these are some boring details, but like I'll make it fast. So there's 2 different things, 2 different letters. What Eddie is suggesting is that the folks at Zuffa leaked the second one that's just about the matchroom stuff as a way to be like, oh, what Eddie is doing is trying to just get more money from this. Which, by the way, I'm not opposed to the idea that that could be true. Like this is just all leverage just to get more money. But here's what I think is actually happening, Chuck. I mean, I think Eddie might have bitten off more than he could chew a little bit.
Yeah.
One, he wanted to partner with all these guys who partnered with the Saudis, and how all of that is slowly withering. Now that Sella is 60%, or Turkey, whatever, is 60% owners of Zuffa Boxing. That's a huge part of it, right? They've clearly picked their horse in the race. And, Frank Warren he sued the fucking Saudis for crying out loud. And De La Hoya has distanced himself. And these are all guys that were like, I'd wash Turkey's feet if he let me,
Yes.
I think part of it that
was Hearn, by the way, back when they were like,
Hearn was like, I would shine his excellency shoes if I was like, holy fuck. Part of that is just the chickens coming home to roost. And I think the other part too is like, Eddie came out with this Tom Aspinall thing, guns blazing, like, I've got the heavyweight champion. We're going to leverage this, and he's going to be treated right. And we're, when you want a war, I'll give you a war. And it's like, bro, these donks at TKO, they play hardball 100% of the time. Like they never don't play hardball. That's the only game that they play is hardball. And I feel like Eddie is in a situation where, maybe he's trying to get more money. Again, this would not surprise me at all.
Right.
But I think the other thing is, dude, he has tried to pick fights in boxing with people who are now teaming up against him. And I think the weight of it is now making him realize that he is very outgunned in this fight. Not that to say that they won't get the fight moved to Wembley, although I don't think that they will. But, that in general, I think the frustration you're seeing is watching the kind of boxing current and tide sweep in, and he doesn't have a boat. He's going to have to swim it on his own. And I think it's making him really upset and pissed off, to be honest with you. That's what it looks like to me.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like, it feels like it's slightly personal too, like emotional, like personal. Because the way he talks, man, it's like, this is somebody who's like taking personal affront to things. But dude, we talked about this when Zuffa Boxing got involved, and when you got Dana involved and all this. We've covered the sport. I started really covering it in 2008, but I was, even before then, you're dabbling in it. So a long time. And like, how often does Dana White lose? Like, especially these things that go, like, once they become public, like they're very public feuds. Like, how often have you seen him lose? It doesn't really happen. So on that level alone, this whole, the Zuffa Boxing thing versus Hearn has been fun in that sense. But I'm kind of with you, because I'm like, I'm not sure that Eddie fully understands the bully he's like poking in the chest here, It just doesn't. When is Dana back down from this? It's almost like he'll go with the extra lengths to win, right? Like he'll go out of his way to win this type of thing.
Dude, if the Saudis are the ones who are bankrolling this fight, and they're the majority owners of Zuffa Boxing, the contract that he has with Joshua, maybe that's a good piece of leverage, right? But like, just look at the bigger picture. It sounds like what I'm saying is every promoter has to just acquiesce to what they want. It's really not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is you're just operating in an environment, man, where like picking your battles and how you pick them and on what level dude, they've got a lot of firepower on the other side, and you just have to know what you're getting into when you do something like that.
It's like he's being made to feel insignificant in a sport that he, that he's shined in. I mean, this goes back to the Conor Ben. When we're talking about Conor Ben, the $15 million payday, and like him leaving her, it's like, imagine that. Now, just imagine it from a personal standpoint, like how that must have felt as a kick. And then you get Dana just constantly like, oh, why are we still talking about Eddie Hearn, man? That guy, he's being treated like, persona non grata. Like he's being treated like he's not a player, not a real player at all. And that's, I mean, I'm telling you, man, this is an ego-driven business. It's got to be bothersome to him.
If he ends up losing this real badly, which, again, we'll see. But let's say he does, something to pay attention to is, does he try and ratchet up tensions elsewhere, with Aspinall? Does he try and do that? Does he try to get Aspinall to go to Jake Paul at the end, at the end of a deal, if at all possible? Like, what does this do in other areas that he's battling? Does he double down on this? Again, I would imagine most MMA fans, Chuck, maybe they don't care necessarily about some of the ins and outs here, but the way it could spread across the business.
Yeah, I know, man.
I mean,
remember the affliction thing back in the day with Randy Couture, and like even associations. Bad associations, the UFC is sort of like, that's why we had a banned card and all that stuff, and Randy Couture was on the outs. I mean, the associations, and you wonder about Ian Gary, and just his involvement with Eddie Hearn, like what it would have meant if he had won. But now what does it mean that he loses? Like, is he, like, you know what I mean? Are the associations going to be the type of thing that ruins him from ever getting a shot? But this is where we're at. I wonder how, I wonder how bad the blood will get before we start to see a turn in this. But it feels like we're just getting started, honestly.
With that in mind, let's go to topic number 5 as we close out our top 5 here. Let's just talk about some of the results from a busy weekend in combat sports. We told you about UFC. We told you about PFL, but there was more. Teofimo Lopez scores a majority decision victory, although he got rocked in round number 5 over Rolly Romero. He did become a 3-weight world champion, but Chuck, dude, we got to say this. The entities, this was round 5. This was like the best moment Rolly had all fight. The scores were kind of close. Again, one of them had a 114, which I really don't understand. I thought Lopez, I mean, he certainly won the back half, and I didn't think he lost that much of the front half. But in any case, dude, this is a legitimate achievement, 3-weight world class. But the only response I have seen from the boxing heads is, my God, what a dog shit era for 147. Does it feel hollow to you, the achievement?
Does it feel hollow in the sense, I guess, like Teofimo, coming off maybe his worst performance, well, at least the one where he was made to look the worst, right? And against Shakur, like, is it because of that? And like it bounced back, it's not like he did something spectacular in the fight. He was able to get the win, or is it like, I mean, I sometimes wonder too, like if Rolly, like when he was fighting Ryan Garcia in Times Square, I was at that fight, and he was kind of the, hey, let's play ball here, Rolly. Let's not do anything stupid because we want to make that Haney rematch with Ryan Garcia. And he goes in there and he interrupts the whole thing. He disrupts it. I feel like there was a little bit of like, dude, you're not, we wanted to have the marquee fight and you kind of just interrupted it. And not that he's a journeyman or anything. Obviously, like, the dude's young enough and he's coming up, but he had lost a couple of fights, right? The Tank fight and the Cruz fight, right? Was there another one in there? But he was like, he had lost some fights. And I wonder if he has not been, he's one of those guys who just kind of like upsets a lot of stuff. And that's why we weren't giving him a lot of love in this fight. But Teofimo winning it, I mean, I was with you. I felt like down the stretch, dude, you do what you're supposed to do. Like you should, you put on this, I felt like Rolly slowed down. He had like very few strikes in that, if any, in the like 12th or whatever, like the last round, right? Like he barely was landing. To me, I'm like, what? It feels hollow, but I'm not exactly sure I can identify it. It wasn't like, to me, it was a bad fight.
It just seems like it was a bad fight, or not the end of the world fight.
I mean, it was it was sort of undramatic fight. Yeah, that nothing much happened, but
and also, dude, DAZN and PBC did a horrible job promoting that fight. I mean, a really bad job. Yeah, you're putting on a title fight between two of the bigger names in the division at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, and like there's zero buzz for it. You fucked that up royally.
That's so true, man.
All right, Amanda Serrano. We talked about this with Cris Cyborg. It's a similar thing, dude. She fights Lucretia Manzor. She wins. She gets her 50th win. She was looking to break the KO record with this, which she did not do. And by the way, her opponent was beating the brakes off of her early in this fight. She had to rally, particularly in the championship rounds, to do so. Chuck, is it coming to close here for the careers of Amanda Serrano and Cris Cyborg? Now, she's only 37. She's not 41. But if you watch this fight,
I know.
Where are you going to go? You
The
know?
writing's on the wall there a little bit. She's made, at least she's cashed in, But the big thing is AT&T. It was at AT&T Stadium with the Katie Taylor in the Madison Square Garden, and then that's just a little bit ago. Wasn't that long ago? And now you're at Pechanga, and I've been to Pechanga. I know about that casino out there in California. So it's like, dude, I mean, what are we doing? At some point, you're like, and I know boxing does this a little bit, but what are you doing? I think her previous fight was in El Paso, and I look at that sort of thing, and I'm like, I'm not sure what it is. Obviously, she's got a dangling carrot. She probably wants to break that record, right? Like, so I feel like that's going to happen, but I'm not sure what's left for it. It was the greatest thing about it is she can always be part of that. I guess that vanguard of like the sport moving forward in terms of being with MVP, being with Jake Paul, being a part of the movement where people were paying attention to women's boxing in a bigger way. And she did have that, that series with Katie Taylor. I think she's done a lot. I don't know what she can do to top what she's already done. So unless she needs the money, which I know she's actually done fairly well for herself, which is great, I don't know why she would continue too much longer.
RAF was in Cleveland over the weekend. So check this out. You had a bunch of UFC stars in action. Not all of it positive, but most of it positive. Henry Cejudo, in a bit of a wrestling rematch, pins Merab in there it is, 36 seconds. Unbelievable win for him. Jordan Burroughs tech-falled Sean Brady, which is not necessarily all that surprising. Brady's a good MMA wrestler and jiu-jitsu guy, but I mean, this is fucking Jordan Burroughs. I mean, look at these double setups, just insane. And then on top of it, how about this? Fucking Tyron Woodley down 8-0, storms back to beat Joaquin Buckley 14-8 at this event. Which of these was most impressive to you, Chuck?
I like the Woodley one, man. Like just coming back. Also, it's because Woodley, the trail of his career, right? Like he's not been able to, like, it's not been kind to him the way he lost in UFC and all that stuff, and like even going outside of it. But to see him kind of remind everybody, like, dude, before all of this, I wore a singlet, and I was like at Mizzou and I was doing these things. I felt like that was cool for him, but like to be down in the deficit too is sort of symbolic.
To me, I got to say that was also pretty impressive. Woodley has had a rough run since losing basically to Kamaru Usman all those years ago. But
is it weird at all that all these retired MMA fighters are beating all these active MMA fighters in RAF? Like we had Colby beat Arman, we just had Woodley beat Buckley, we had Cejudo beat Merab. Like it's weird that the older guys are almost winning all.
All right, but let's go through those. Cejudo lost the first time.
Yeah.
Right. But
Buckley was never a wrestler. Woodley was a D1 wrestler, All-American at that.
Sure.
What's the other one you mentioned? Colby and Arman.
Yeah.
Colby's a bigger guy who also wrestled D1 at a high level.
True.
Not really.
You think the fix is in Long Island?
I don't. I'm not saying it.
You're like,
just
why are
I'm
wrestlers
putting it in the
doing
ether?
better
I don't
than
know. Maybe people got to
non-wrestlers
start thinking
in wrestling. I don't know. It seems pretty straightforward.
Maybe I got to text BC about this. He'll
have some theories
with me. Yeah.
And then last but not least, for the Gathering of the Juggalos, aka Brand Risk 15, took place over the weekend.
I hated that you even made me had to go look at this, man. You put it on the rundown.
Anderson Silva's son knocked out Kimbo Slice Jr. and other things happened. Do we care?
No, I do not care. What was the main, like the it was actually pretty funny, like the main event. What was the dude's name?
I don't know. I do know that Larry Wheels, the powerlifter sort of influencer, tore his bicep in this one.
Oh, I heard about that. I didn't actually see that one, but like the other dude, I mean, like he kind of hit him with a left hand or something. It was just straight. It was like a guy got tased.
Vicious KO.
Yeah. He was like he got tased. He went down like so straight, and like it was actually pretty good for just clipping off something. But dude, I cannot get into this stuff.
When people get KO'd and it looks like the scene where APOC and Switch are getting the plugs pulled out of them in the Matrix,
It's exactly right though.
It's a decent KO, but I'm with you. It's like, dude, this is for booger eaters. I mean, that's just who that's for. All right. With that in mind, that's our top 5. Let's go into it right now. We put up a post on Instagram every Sunday. You guys fill it up with questions. The producers pick the best ones, and then they send them to us. It's time for DMs from Donks. All right, from Joshua Leventhal. Danny talked about core strength with Fluffy ahead of his the fight in relation to his body shot resilience, but to me it was also showing in his wrestling. His penetration just seemed high and weak, even though he can spam it. What do you think is the primary deficiency in the wrestling this time around? I mean, Chuck, not everyone has to have like a low-level, powerful, like Khamzat Chimaev blasting shot. I certainly agree with that. You know, it can be beneficial if you've got it, but not everyone has to have it. But I also think so too. Like, I think Fluffy is a little bit more used to like getting a takedown under a set of circumstances that are not like so related to technical dynamism in those positions, and more of the walls are kind of soggy and crumbling, and now I can just kind of do my game. It seems like that's a little bit more the issue.
I mean, we watched that little piece of footage where both dudes are like, one's on crutches and Fluffy sitting down. I wonder to what extent his legs were compromised too in that second round. I mean, I don't know how much it like plays a role, but like it didn't seem like he had as much, especially as he was like, they seemed half-hearted almost like at times as that fight wore on. I don't know if it played a role until we kind of hear from him more. I don't know, but that could have,
I don't know. I'm not here going to be like, oh, strength and conditioning is Fluffy's issue. I don't know if that's true, but there is a certain kind of, I think to an extent, physical dynamism in terms of like explosivity, power that's missing, but there's also technical deficiencies too. All right. From DT's Rights, who had the worst game plan at UFC Seattle?
Oh my God.
Roman Dolidze for whatever the hell he was doing, or Kennedy and Nzechukwu for whatever the hell he was doing. It's got to be Kennedy, bro. It's got to be, right?
Well, he's like, it gets all of them. Where's the crickets too? But he kind of, I don't know what he's thinking by putting his hands down. Because if you're going to do that, you better know that you can get out of the way. And you don't like go into the power source like you said. Like, it's just, if we're saying that this is worse than Dolidze, though, that's how bad it is. That just circles how bad it is, because Dolidze, I don't understand that game plan either.
Dude, I mean, the Dolidze loss was bad, but the Kennedy loss was a meme. It's that one.
That's absolutely right, yes.
All right, 3, V Sanchez _88. Could Rolly Romero, I don't know if you know this, Chuck, has a background as a judoka, could he be competitive in MMA given his skill set? I don't know that there is much more he can do in boxing. I don't know if he could do well at high level MMA, Chuck, but do I think he could win in regional MMA? Yes, I absolutely think he could.
I mean, we've seen it's tough, man, because he's so practiced in the new, just like all good boxers, you're so practiced in the stand-up and all the nuance that goes into that, that to add those other elements of the clinch, the ground game.
But
and I know like
judo.
Yeah, I mean, I at least he has that in his scaffolding. That's why I would give him like you're saying. I think that he could have some success in it. I'm not sure he'd have the ultimate success in this, but it's just too much to add. Like, you got to almost have all phases these days to be competitive.
Yeah, or you have to be so lights out in one of them that I will say that there were let's see, who was it? Long Island's Algieri wrestled. He was a guy who also kickboxed and boxed.
Yeah.
To me, he could have been an interesting MMA fighter. Kermit Cintron wrestled, I think, for a little while. He's one that could have done it, but there's not many of them. Like, unless you have that, like Bud Crawford wrestled, right? Unless you've got that as a background before you switch to boxing, it's going to be tough. But if you do have it as a background, it could be interesting.
Well, James Toney had the boxing, and that's it. He just had the
didn't
boxing.
go too well. Do you ever seen that video, by the way, of James Toney sitting down with Lorenzo and Dana to explain his desire to fight in the UFC? Did you ever see this?
I don't know if I saw it. So I saw a ton back in the day because he was all vocal. Remember, he was going around everywhere talking. And so, what happened on the actual
he has this video, and they're like, Dana asks him, like, what other kind of training have you done? Obviously, your boxing is, some of the best we've ever seen. But what about the other stuff? He was like, I'm paraphrasing here, but I remember him saying stuff like, you guys have never seen, I know Chinese side kicks, and like just saying a random assortment of words. And you could see Dana being like, oh, we're about to make money off of you,
dude.
All right, from YYXVBC. Do you think the UFC has finally begun souring on Khamzat? Dana recently dismissed the Strickland rematch talk. That, combined with his poor performance in his last 2 title fights, blaming UFC for having him go up to 205, inactivity, fucking up UFC 279 by allowing Diaz to walk out with a high value, blah, blah, blah. What do you think?
Yeah, I because I saw Hamza out too was like, hey, I'm ready to fight. It seems like there is some acrimony going on behind the scenes. Something's going on there. I think that the biggest problem for him though is that she's just so hard. He's a lot of red tape, isn't he? Like the visa issues you having before before the new president, like all the things to get in the States, and then it feels like he doesn't. To get him to fight is very difficult. It feels like. So if there's anything, I would think it stems from all of that. Plus, going into the fight and the way he performed, I think that this has been a bad year for him that way.
It has. And then last but not least, Taekwondo Dude Memes has a good question. Over a year into the product, is UFC BJJ a success or a failure in your eyes? Chuck, do you have any strong thoughts on this?
I don't, man. But I got to say that I think I've tuned in I've seen a little bit of it, but I just don't really, I guess maybe it's a bandwidth thing. I just haven't really paid that close of attention to it.
I'm not sure what to say because I've only paid moderate attention to it. I'll say that I don't think it's commercially doing anything. I think that they're trying to do these like regional ones now, like they're just borrowing from IBJJF and ADCC, which will hopefully, in their mind, I think, better it. But like if you watch the videos that they put out, like the live shows, they don't do great numbers. Some of my post-fight shows beat them.
Yeah.
And I'm just a single dude on a fucking internet connection.
Remember there was that controversy with the first one because it did like 20 million views.
Yeah, and then none of the subsequent ones did anything like that.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
So they clearly spammed the fuck out of that. But on the other hand, like they're still getting people to go to them who have big names. Jay Rodriguez just signed with them. They just had a Del Fiorno who competed for them. So like it's weird. Like on the one hand, like they're not merely just not going away. They're in some ways, I think, advancing, but on the other hand, it just feels like there's no buzz about it. So it's kind of locked. I think.
Do you think it can it be? Because I remember the Metamoris thing, going to a couple of those. I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like I feel like jiu-jitsu as a spectator sport is tough. Like just in general,
I mean, the question you have to ask yourself is: are the people behind it actively trying to make money, or are they actively trying to make sure no one else can make money before they just make all the money?
Right.
And maybe they feel like these are just things that they have to just put up with until then. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not been overwhelming, but they're not going away. So keep that in mind. All right. With that in mind, it is now time to look at your artwork that we put on our proverbial fridge. It's time for fan subs.
You've got mail.
Viewers.
Now, as a reminder, morningkombat@gmail.com is the best place to send these. Best one all month gets a free signed poster. Keep them coming. All right, let's do this. Jesus, we got like 8 million of these. All right, from Declan, we got a meme. He says, whenever Luke introduces the segment, he says he puts our artwork, here we go, on the proverbial fridge. But whenever you receive artwork, it's always AI slop. Now, I certainly am not a good visual artist of any kind, but someone had to finally show up and bring some original artwork pieces. These are the characters I made from the pre-game preview. For the love of God, I challenge someone to do better. Let's see. Reveille, the crack. There's a bong in the circle.
In the circle,
Rip Brian Campbell, who was apparently born in 69, 67. Integers and the crack. Integers is Jed, right?
I guess if you're Reveille, yeah.
Look I guess I have to
is.
Very good artwork. Thank you, Violetta.
He's got like the American flag shirt. That's definitely Jed.
All right. From Brian C. He says, hey, Luke, can you please tell the people what the topic of conversation was during this snapshot?
Oh, man.
Well, you know what? Don't
you wish?
Probably crimes against humanity.
Dicks everywhere. Dicks.
Man, Tucker I like how no one's talking and everyone's looking at Tucker. That's amazing.
I could tell you'd rather get fucked to death by a 2-dick tiger than be on that.
Double dicked. Just whatever it takes to not do that. All right. This is the worst name I've ever seen. All cream, no jeans.
Oh, no.
Long Island Luke, after Alexa Grasso kills Macy Barber spectacularly, he bet the over. Long Island Luke's girlfriend Sunday morning.
The painfully accurate part about this is I did bet the over in that fight. I don't know if they actually know this or they're just guessing.
wow.
But I did. Yeah.
That is awesome. That's a great one. A great one. All right. From John McClain, he writes, is this the Mount Rushmore of mustaches? Tom Selleck.
Oh, man.
Who's the donk in the middle? The white-haired donk?
That's,
What's his name?
Oh, God.
He's
What is
an
that dude's
actor.
name?
I can't think of his name.
He's in Big
though.
Lebowski.
Yeah. He's in a million things.
Yeah.
He was in
Sam
a Family
something,
Guy.
right?
Yeah, it is Sam something.
Yeah.
Fuck, what is his name?
Shepherd, maybe?
And then there's Danny Segura, Senor Bigote. And then there was whatever the fuck Brian Campbell was doing at the Connor Fight Week. What was he doing?
I don't know. I don't know, man.
Sam Elliott.
Sam
Elliott's
Elliott,
the
yes.
guy.
Yeah.
Elliott. Dude, I saw BC. I was like, did this motherfucker grow like 1970s era Red Sox reliever handlebar mustache? Is that what he did?
He was
Sure
trying
enough, that's
to.
what he did.
Yeah.
All right. Eric just has a meme. MK donks when Jed uses the word interstitial. MK donks when Luke uses the word integer. Yes, thank you. People, dude, there's Luke derangement syndrome out there where when I can just sneeze and people have a lot of reactions to it. Meanwhile, other people can just go and,
Not that this needs explanation, LT, but you skipped. So this is from Jose. He does have a little blurb for it, but I mean, you got it.
Oh, fuck. I missed it then.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
The next one is from
one more time.
Eric.
Hold on. Leave it up, and I'll read it. I apologize. This is my fault. From Jose, he writes, I was watching pregame preview for UFC when Jed uses some vocabulary that Luke would have gotten torched for. Seems odd to me that next to no one in the comments seemed to pick up on it. They probably thought he was just using gibberish as a ambulance chasing lawyer. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Dude, I like this audience. They pay attention to everything. That's what's great about it. You know?
It's a no, but they also fixate on a certain set of my
Yes,
own
they do.
eccentricities.
Yes, they
All
do.
right. From Eric. Now, this is from Eric. Apologies. BC's Have You Seen This Shit segment was a hilarious fan favorite. Ways it scarred Luke. World's worst tattoos, snuff videos, the cake lady. What were the snuff videos? Like people just like
I don't know, old people, elderly abuse, maybe.
the elderly abuse. The cake, dude, people
He still love that
still DM me cake lady videos literally every other day. I'm not kidding.
Oh man. They
It's
don't
the
let you
fucking
off
worst.
the hook, man. They don't let you off the hook.
I follow her on Instagram for the occasional time we pull the video, and the only other person of my follower, whatever, who follows her is Brian Campbell. So.
With his pants around his ankles. All right, number 7 here. We have Possum Parliament with a meme. Integer count 47. Wait. Walk me through this motherfucking shit. What is this?
Okay, so it's you. It says integer count 47, and it also says lifetime ban from Joseph A. Banks.
Okay.
Me, it's texting. Wait, there's an explanation for this, isn't it, or no? No, I guess he didn't give.
It's
an
like the girlfriend
explanation.
texting you there.
It's me texting my girlfriend. I also have a UFC Apex poster and just generic UFC Fight Night posters up and a bong. BC's wearing a hat that says "I love Russian women." Danny has a Spanish thing there that I'm not
Spanish
gonna,
Shrek.
attempt to pronounce the Shrek horns. Chuck, they thought you were a cokehead, not a crackhead, because they
Okay.
got you with powder around your
It's
nose.
fine.
We got Oscar drinking beer, and we got Jed with his lawyer degree. It looks like in a funny suit as well.
Okay. Hold on one second here. The ogres are like pots las cebollas? The onions? I don't know. I don't quite understand the Spanish here. Las ogras son como...
You're our resident Spanish
it-
guy, so we're not going to
but
know any better. We're just going to take it as
Ogres
the
have a
ogres
million
and onions.
skins, right? Or something like that. Isn't that from the
Oh,
from the movie?
ogres have layers.
Yeah, layers, like or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they're talking about.
Oh, sorry. I'm
Nice,
sorry. The ogres are like chopped onions is essentially what they're saying. It's sort of the translation there.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to forgive me on my Spanish. It's incomplete. Not bad. A little involved, but not bad. All right. Dave has 3 of these. He says, love the show. Just got a Gemini subscription and made my first 3
Here we
AI
go.
videos. Here goes nothing.
I will keep you safe. I will keep you safe, my precious.
Oh my Lord, it's so weird. Is it that?
He's got a Predator doll. That was a good one.
He's also wearing the John Donk shirt.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw
John
that.
Donk
I
shirt,
saw
yeah.
that.
All right, next.
Oh my God.
Chuck, you had hair.
Yeah, this whole time.
You handsome devil. That one was a little weirder.
Yeah.
That one had a little bit more of a porn attitude for it. I didn't care for that one.
That's
Next
my
one.
Stormtrooper helmet, though.
Bienvenido a mi pantano. Wow, this is unbelievable. Ole, mi gente. Yes.
Okay.
The Danny one is the fucking best one, dude.
Can you send that
was
to
a good
Danny
one.
or let me send it to him? Because that's fucking
my
awesome.
God, that's great.
so good.
All right, that one's in the running for best fan sub. That was great. That was great.
That was good.
These are all great. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Jesus Christ. Keep them coming. morningkombat@gmail.com. morningkombat@gmail.com. That's the best place to send those. They've never been better. We love them. Keep them coming. All right. That's it for the show. Chuck, what you got going on this week?
Well, I'll definitely have a couple pieces on Uncrowned coming up this week. I'll actually, I think I'll be on the crack on Friday. I've got to confirm on that, but I'll also be. Bare Knuckle has a thing on Saturday at Fenway Park, and I think I'm going to go check that out and do a piece on that. Yeah.
All right. What you got going on, Long Island?
That's pretty dope, Chuck. You're going to the BKFC FM.
Yeah, I got to check it out, man.
I'm gonna, usual week. We got live chat, bet breakdown, prop quiz on Friday, watch along Saturday. We'll talk about it on Friday, but you already know main card man.
Awesome. And then I've got a busy week myself. You guys know all the places to get my content. I don't need to tell you. So let's remind everyone, we got our socials here below. I already mentioned the email, morningkombat@gmail.com. And then, of course, the merch, morningkombat.shop is the place to go. You have, let's see, we got the head splitter and we got the John Donk, plus the autographed poster. And then, of course, emojis and badges for our members. All right? Okay. For Long Island, for the Iceman himself, Chuck Mindenhall, I'm Luke Thomas. Thank you all so much for watching. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you on Friday. And until then, may all of your gains be loyal.